come up with that dog shit pick. What the fuck were we thinking? What the fuck were you thinking? Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Jimnasium. As always, it is me, XFL Jim. I am joined by the man himself, Chase Lupine, Fiasco, Sessoms, a.k.a. the Wolf of Oaklawn. What's up, buddy?
I love it so much. It's never changed. I've always loved it so much. You jumping through that table.
I like the fast version better than the slow version at this point.
I like it. It just injects fun into everything that we do whenever you go through all fast like that.
Let me see the slow-mo one more time.
I don't know. That's tough. That's a toss-up, right?
I like the angle of the slow one, but the instant just gets you right in the face of the fast one is something beautiful.
Yeah, the bah of the fast one is the good stuff, but the roar from the slow mo is like the Job of the Hutt voice, just the bachewy chong, bachewy chewy chong.
It hits different. They both tickle my brain, but in a little bit of a different way. Yes, I am in a new space right now. I'm recording from a giant garage, so if there's an echo, I apologize, but not really because this is still sick. Moved into the new house. Don't have internet until next Tuesday.
As someone who's been in that garage before, I can attest that it is the dopest garage that I've ever been in, ever.
It's a pretty sick garage.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you're sitting at like the bar in the garage right now. That's right next to like an office with like, look at this. Look at this.
Beautiful.
Got pretzels. Got beer girls. Look at that. Got
everything the heart could want here, Chase. And everything that the mind needs is right here in my notes. I have the AP Top 25 listed out before me.
Let's get after it then, man. I haven't looked. I know you had to look to be able to facilitate the show, but I'm excited to see where some of these teams have ended up, especially to see where Alabama ends up in these rankings.
As always, we start with the receiving votes. Receiving one vote this week in the AP Top 25, the Colorado Buffaloes.
They deserve it.
I think so too. I think they're like 28 or 30. They're like right there.
They deserve it. I mean, 4-1 this season. Their only loss coming to your Nebraska Cornhuskers, which a team that's no slouch. So yeah, man. I rank Colorado, you cowards.
Yeah, they put it on UCF, which I still think UCF's a decent team.
Me too. I think my UCF Big 12 champion prediction probably not going to come to fruition.
Dude, well, I mean, we'll get to this later when we talk some of the other games, though. The Big 12, still, at this point, I think anybody could win it.
That's fair. I mean, you can make a case for BYU. You can make a case for Colorado. You can make a case for UCF. You can make a case for who else?
Cam Rising, Utah.
Yeah.
You have to, know in the fine print Cam Rising.
Cam Rising. Not just a threatened Cam Rising, which is what we've gotten for the last year.
Up next, 2 votes. Army.
Rank Army, you cowards. That team is a wagon.
They are both okay. Navy and Army are both killing it right now. Army is destroying teams.
We're on a collision course for the most consequential Army-Navy game that we've ever had in my lifetime, I think.
Do you want my dream scenario for that game?
That it hinges on the playoff spot?
Well, yes. But so they made it a rule that it's a non-conference game. So it has no bearing. It's still played at the same time after all the conference championships. The dream scenario is A, it's for a playoff spot, but B, that they previously played each other for the AAC championship.
And then have to play the following week.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I would take that.
Receiving 4 votes, SMU.
I don't know how to feel about SMU.
So after losing to BYU, this team, like, slow start to the season, they've kind of like redeemed themselves a little bit by just housing TCU and Florida State.
It's true, but I mean, who hasn't beat up on Florida State so far?
Fair.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. I think that they've got a big matchup this week, and that will tell us if they're really worth votes or not.
I'm excited for SMU. I'm tentatively excited. Receiving 6 votes, we talked about them earlier, Navy.
Rank Navy. Navy puts up points in bunches. They've got a little bit. They have a few more wrinkles in their triple option than Army does, and I think they look really salty on offense.
I think Navy is legitimately I think Navy, both service academies are killing it right now. I think Navy right now looks like the better team.
I think it's because Army goes how Bryson Daly goes. I think is what kind of makes Army look like the weaker team because they're so quarterback dependent.
Our first bet of the entire preview season for that conference though was Army over.
There we go.
Over on the win total.
Said we didn't know what could happen. They could either win 9 or 10 games, or they could win 2 or 3.
6 votes also, the Kentucky Wildcats.
No, man. Just no. I
have heard them dubbed the Iowa of the SEC.
What, no offense, all defense?
Yeah, basically.
That's an insult to Iowa.
Dude, that defense is feisty though. They're feisty.
I mean, I guess.
7 votes for the Rutgers Scarlet Knights.
Rutgers with a 4. I think anytime Rutgers starts 4-0, there should be some sort of federal law that says Rutgers must then be, ranked afterwards.
I say Rutgers should be ranked. At number 8, receiving 8 votes, South Carolina Gamecocks.
They're tougher than we thought they would be, but I don't know. I
don't trust them, but I think they are. I think if you're looking on teams that we previewed for the SEC in particular, South Carolina is one of those teams that is at least a little bit better than we thought. Maybe a team like Missouri and Ole Miss are worse than we thought they were going to be.
I feel like Ole Miss is exactly as good as I thought Ole Miss was going to be, and same with Missouri. They're just outside of the pecking order. I don't know. Me
personally, I was very high on Missouri, but also that has a lot to do with that schedule.
True.
Also receiving 8 votes, Oklahoma State. Still receiving 8 votes.
It's time to kick them. It's time for them to stop receiving votes, I think, after they got just PP smacked by Kansas State.
I am already moving on to betting Oklahoma to win the Big 12 next year because they're going to have a bad year this year, and then no one will be. We say this every single time. Oklahoma State this year had expectations to compete for the conference and be one of the favorites. Mm-hmm. We should have faded them.
Mike Gundy does not do well with expectations.
No, he does not. Receiving 13 votes, and I'm surprised they're not ranked. JMU.
They might are they undefeated or do they have one loss?
They're undefeated.
I think that JMU, the way that they're just kicking the ever-loving shit out of people, for real, just pushing people's shit in. I think that most likely you should rank them just on style points alone, and the fact that they're going and winning big games outside of their conference against P4 teams.
And I get that it was North Carolina last week, but if you put 70 on any P4 team,
Yeah. It's not like they barely beat North Carolina. They bodied North Carolina.
Receiving 17 votes, the Iowa Hawkeyes.
They should be just hanging around there, until they go on a run or something. That's where they should be hanging out.
Yeah, I think they should be like a mid, like a hot, like a in the 20s, and then receiving votes. They're in that range.
Yeah.
18 votes for Boston College.
Fell off a little bit. Good win against Western Kentucky.
Yes.
I guess all they really have against them is that loss in Missouri.
That was a close loss too.
I think the reason that they're like outside of the top 25 is because their quarterback is injured.
I think so too. I think that definitely plays a factor. Receiving 30 votes, my Nebraska Cornhuskers.
How's that feel?
I'm glad that they're not ranked now. I'm glad that they're not ranked going into playing Rutgers.
Oh yeah, that would be big time letdown. Big time letdown right there. Now you're the scrappy underdogs against Rutgers.
Well, we're still a 7-point favorite, but it's at home. It's homecoming. It's fine. But I'm glad that we don't have a number next to our name. And they've looked sloppy, but they got the win against Purdue, who's not good. So I don't know. I don't know how to feel right now.
You guys have lost against Rutgers in recent memory, haven't you?
No, actually, as bad as Nebraska has been, the team we consistently do well against is Rutgers.
God bless.
Even when Rutgers was like having pretty decent seasons, like winning 7-8 games, and we were winning like 5, we would still beat Rutgers.
Okay.
We lose to like Purdue, Northwestern, and Minnesota, and then like beat Rutgers.
Okay.
42 votes for Pitt.
Pitt's getting perilously close to needing to be ranked. That offense, they got that offense rolling. And was it Eli Holstein is
yes,
spinning the pill?
106 votes for the Arizona Wildcats.
That was a big win for Arizona.
Yep.
I think that this is where they should be, though. It just teetering.
I think so too. I watched their game against Kansas State, and I'm just like, I don't know, man. This team can still have moments of sloppiness, but Noah Fafita can throw like a really pretty ball every once in a while, and then Tetaroa is just a beauty.
My favorite name to say in college football this year, Tetaroa McMillan.
Now entering the top 25, Chase, at number 25. I called this completely wrong. They proved everyone wrong. UNLV at 25.
Yeah, I got smoked on that one too. I was on Fresno State money line, and they apparently it was not too much bullshit for UNLV. They should even be ranked higher, I think.
I think so too. Also, I think they upgraded at quarterback.
It seems like it. Like the guy can actually throw the ball as opposed to Sluka, who is more of like a running quarterback than anything else.
24, Illinois.
Can't argue against it. Bird is birding right now.
Even in the loss to Penn State, the defense still looked really good. Like Illinois is just a solid team. I think Burt is just good at coaching us. He's good at coaching up these guys.
Yeah. Do you know they're one of the few schools that has not had game day?
Ever?
Yeah, they're one of like 5 remaining schools that has never had game day.
I would have thought maybe back in the day, but yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, they haven't been good in my lifetime, I don't think.
No, I thought they had like a couple good seasons in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, I mean they had good seasons, but they weren't ever really like good.
It's fair. At 23, another Big Ten I team, Indiana, the Hoosiers.
They cracked the top 25 this week, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's time to fade them. Or just JMU West is what we should call them.
Yeah, they are JMU West, and honestly, I probably will be fading them in at least this week.
Just all these teams that just cracked the top 25, it's time to fade.
Especially a school like Indiana, who just is never there.
Has never had anything except for that time that they had Michael Penix.
The last time they won 9 games. That COVID season was magical. At 22, Louisville, your Louisville Cardinals.
I think it's a warranted drop. I think it's a fair drop. We're at the point of the season where I'm okay if a 1-loss team is in the top 25.
Yep.
I mean, I'm sure there are 25 undefeated teams, but at Louisville, they didn't let themselves get like spanked. Like
they were in that game.
Yeah, they made it respectable at the end. So, and Notre Dame's a tough place to play. So, you know.
At number 21, it's the highest G5. It is Boise State.
I saw the other day that Genty kid already has 845 yards through 4 fucking games.
I'm pretty sure he's on pace to beat Barry Sanders' record.
Oh, he has to be. I mean, he's on pace for 2,400 right now?
Not to mention the touchdowns, dude.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's just racking. It's not like he's just racking up yards. He's taking it to the crib a lot.
If he stays healthy, this team's just I cannot wait to see. I don't know if they play UNLV in the regular season. I don't remember. I don't have it pulled up. But we're barreling forward towards a Mountain West Conference championship of Boise State UNLV. And I am excited. And
one that could have monumental importance, like a Mountain West Conference championship that could decide a playoff spot. Fingers crossed that they both go undefeated until that point.
I really hope so. I also hope that Army Navy go undefeated so that we can have this argument of which one deserves it.
Yes. How much do you love America is what the argument turns into.
Exactly. It's that'll be Take City. Number 20, Kansas State.
Yeah. The way that they spanked Oklahoma State, though, I mean, it's still Oklahoma State with expectations, but they put it on Oklahoma State like pretty bad. I think that's an appropriate spot for them also. This top 25 seems pretty accurate so far.
So far, so good. I think we'll take a look back at the K-State season and see the BYU game as an anomaly.
You think so?
I think I watched that one. I think everything that could go wrong went wrong in that game, especially for Avery Johnson.
That's fair.
At number 19, Oklahoma, the Sooners.
If there were a team that I would kick out of the top 25, it might be Oklahoma. Even though they just won against Auburn. That was an ugly win against Auburn.
And they did not deserve to win that one. But
the
defense is really good. That offense is poo-poo.
Yeah, dude. That offense is hot garbage.
I don't think we'll need to worry about it. But again, Chase, as we come into this next week, this is a low expectations Oklahoma going into Red River.
Yeah, no. This is 100% the spot to take Oklahoma in the Red River Shootout. 100%.
At number 18, Utah.
They'll just keep chugging along like they are, and then next thing you know, they'll win the Big 12.
I don't know about you. I'm tired of the will he won't he with Cam Rising.
Oh, totally, because you can't, especially like from a gambling perspective, like. It's hard to hang your hat on any Utah game because every single game he's questionable.
Yep. He's always a game time decision. And they did the same thing last year and he never played. So I don't know.
Yeah. I wish they would just say, hey, Cam Rising is broken. He's done.
What was it? I saw there was someone in the NFL who Cam Rising tore his ACL the same time. Damar Hamlin. The same time Damar Hamlin died on the field.
Died. Yeah.
Cam Rising tore his ACL, and Damar Hamlin has played 2 seasons.
Yeah, he's actually gotten back in. He's had an interception this week.
At number 17, BYU.
Wagon.
They
did their best to give that game back to Baylor. They really did.
They turned off the Jets.
They did. They need a little bit more step on their necks. But I mean, is BYU approaching best team in the Big 12 territory?
So obviously I'm biased because I bet on them, but the next team is who I have as the front runner right now. BYU is definitely up there, but at 16, Iowa State.
Okay, that's fair.
That defense is good, dude.
That's hard for me because I haven't seen any Iowa State games this year at all.
Offense is like hit or miss. It's like iffy. It's streaky, but that defense is legit.
Hey man, legit D goes a long way, especially in the Big 12.
And I'll say this for BYU. I think sneakily in the Big 12, BYU might have like a top 2 home field advantage. Like Provo's weird.
Those Mormons get wild. They don't get drunk, but they do get wild somehow.
At number 15, the Clemson Tigers.
Get them the fuck out of there. They deserve to be where they are. They've been kicking the shit out of teams.
We need to see Clemson against a real team. Like not a Georgia level team, but like a real team.
Well, let's see. Stanford was their first. Well, I can't even say that. Like I was gonna say, Stanford was their first like non-suspect team that they've played, but they've played nothing but suspect teams so far.
I'd say Stanford's the least suspect one, but like I don't know. Oh, Eric, yeah, I can't wait for Clemson to boat race Miami. Eric, as someone who has a Clemson ACC future, same. What's up, NASCAR?
NASCAR.
I cannot wait. At number 14, Notre Dame.
Okay. I don't know. I feel like you can't lose to NIU and still be in the top 25.
Yeah, I feel like the loss to NIU just gets worse and worse as well. With NIU losing to both Buffalo and NC State.
Yeah, it does. A rudderless NC State, NC State that looks terrible.
At number 13, LSU.
I still feel like they're overrated.
I do too.
They're not complete enough. There's no defense.
I feel like they'll fall, but they will be used to prop up other people's schedule.
Yeah, and they've got some style points too with that win against USA this weekend too.
Fair. At number 12, falling 6 spots, I believe, Ole Miss.
I think that's a deserving fall. I think that's the first time that they played anybody who's actually worth a damn, and it was bad. No bueno for them.
At number 11, USC, the Trojans. Okay, I'll say this for USC. I don't know what they're doing in the first halves of games, but their second halves have been amazing, dude.
It seems like they are kind of built for the second half. They played a little bit of defense too in their last game, I think, didn't they?
Well, dude, in the second half against Wisconsin, they allowed 0 points.
Yeah, that's pretty stout. Pretty stout.
They've been in the second half, they have locked in. I am still on this USC team. The Michigan game is itself, it's whatever, but still on USC. Speaking of which, number 10, Michigan.
They shouldn't be at 10. They should be like 15, right?
The Texas loss really hurts. I'd probably have them lower, but they'll fall. They will fall. Like the way they're going to play, they're like a more recruited heavy version of Iowa where they can't throw the ball at all.
Right.
Yeah. First half USC NASCAR is ass. But Michigan, we know what they're going to be. Honestly, I think they probably deserve to lose that game just based off of what the ending was.
Yeah, that's true.
Which we will get to, but they will fall. I'm not too worried right now. Number 9, Missouri.
Missouri just keeps chugging along, don't they?
They keep playing like close games. That's their only gripe is like against lesser competition, they're letting them hang around.
Yeah, they do seem to play down to every single team that they play, but they're still with their schedule. I have no reason for them not to be like close to the top 5 by the end of the season.
I agree. Number 8, Miami.
Hey man, I know Uncle Rico doesn't think Miami is legit. I think Miami might actually be legit this year.
I think the fact that Mario Cristobal didn't get embarrassed coaching wise on Friday is a good sign for them.
I think so too.
I think you and me both. I mean, you take the good with the bad with Cam Ward. I think you and me are both higher on Cam Ward than Eric is.
I think that's true. I just think that with that game, Thursday games and Friday games are weird. They're always weird with how they play out because people are out of they're like toddlers. When they're out of their routine, they just, shit goes crazy. And so I think that you kind of maybe just draw a line through that last game where it looked kind of ugly.
I think we'll see a lot because now they're playing on game day all the way across the country in Cal.
Man. Cal, first time hosting game day.
Very happy about it. I hope they go to my sandwich spot.
They had Aaron Rodgers was on McAfee talking up some hot dog spot.
That I need to hear. I think I had a hot dog there. I don't know. I was high a lot there whenever I would go.
That's fair. Good on
Number
you.
7, Penn State.
They're good. Their defense is good. They played a close one against Illinois, closer than expected one against Illinois because that was one of the worst spreads of the week, I think.
Yeah, we should have been on Illinois.
We should have been on Illinois, just all over Illinois.
But yeah, they're good. I think their game against Illinois is another team for Penn State that always plays them sort of close. So I still am very much on this Penn State team. I am interested to see what happens when they play Michigan because I don't actually know if they play it. Who can? When they play like an Oregon, Michigan, or Ohio State, that is what they judge themselves against.
Yeah, that's true.
At number 6, Oregon.
They still feel overrated, but they've righted the ship too at the same time.
Yeah, I think they're fine now. I think they're back to cooking people.
Okay. I want to see them play someone though. I still don't think they've really played anybody yet.
Boise State.
That's true.
Super close game though.
True. Closer than you would expect a game of Boise State to be.
Yes. At number 5, falling. At number 5, Georgia, the Bulldogs.
I'm not sure if they deserve to fall that far.
Well, every team ahead of them is undefeated.
Okay, then maybe they deserve to fall that far. Yeah. The way that they came back was really impressive, I will say. But yeah, you gotta.
I'll also say they're buying away the highest one-loss team. Them at 5, and then it's Michigan at 10.
Yeah, I think so.
NASCAR, I say that about every college football season, but also very much so this year.
Yeah, this NFL season's been bad.
At number 4, Tennessee.
We got them this week in prime time. And it's going to be great. Great. So glad to be playing Tennessee in fucking prime time. That is going to suck for us.
Well, Chase, all the pressure is on them. You guys just get to play fuck around ball, drag them down to your level, and do whatever you got to do.
See, we drag teams into rock fights, and then we lose the rock fight is the problem.
Okay, if you're talking about last week, you guys, that game's stupid every time. You guys always are super competitive, super close, and always lose that game.
That's true. I'll give you that.
You guys could be ranked number 1 in the country and still lose that game by a field goal.
Yeah. Yeah. At least we covered.
I think that's the last game in Jerry World, isn't it?
That was it. It's now those games are on campus now.
Thank God.
Yeah, man. They missed out so much on recruiting with that game, because you couldn't have official visits or anything for it. You couldn't talk to recruits while you're in Jerry World. So yeah, I'm glad it's moving.
At number 3, Ohio State.
They're just quietly chugging along. I feel like this is the most under the radar Ohio State has been and in the last 10 to 15 years.
Well, they haven't played anybody yet.
It's true that they haven't played anybody, but usually everyone is on Ohio State's dick by this point.
I will say it's interesting just to we'll talk about them, Alabama, a little bit later. It is interesting when you look at Ohio State and Alabama. The 2 best receivers in college football right now are both freshmen.
That's true. It's true. One's even more freshman-y than the other one.
At number 2, Chase, it's Texas.
So Alabama did jump to number 1 then.
Alabama did jump to number 1. I think deservedly so, because if you looked at Texas, their like claim to number 1 was their win over Michigan.
And now that Michigan win, even though they're hanging out at 10.
No, it still looks good. Like that win still looks really good. Like if you judge, so their best win is against Michigan. Georgia's was against Clemson. And now Bama has the win against Georgia.
Yeah, Bama's got by far the best win of the season at this point.
Oh, easily the best win of the season. What a game.
Dude, epic football game. It's time to get into those games, isn't it?
It is time to get into them, and let's just like skip ahead and talk about that game. Who cares about anything else? Let's talk about Georgia 34, Alabama 41, and how we got there.
There is no way that game should have finished that close. There's no way that Georgia should have come back to take a lead. That's just amazing. It was absolutely, like, for how bad Carson Beck looked in the first half was how good he looked in the second half. Like he looked just. I think NASCAR here is right. Georgia, Alabama game of the year. I can't think of any other game that will top that coming up to it, just between the hype and then the actual product that ended up on the field.
Unless we somehow get a part 2, I don't see it happening.
We could easily get a part 2.
We could.
I mean, you still have Georgia has to play Texas. I mean,
that'll be a good game.
Yeah, Texas still has to play Oklahoma in a game that's like that Arkansas Texas A&M game. Yep. It's always wonky.
This was Jalen Milroe's Heisman game easily.
I think so too. Kalen DeBoer is some sort of quarterback whisperer, because the way that the improvement that I've seen in Jalen Milroe from year 1 to year 2 as a starter is crazy. Just way better throwing the balls. He could only throw a deep ball last year, it seemed. And now he can throw everything, and he's got the legs to go with it. So I think that Jalen Milroe has to be, I'm sure he is your Heisman favorite in the betting right now.
I think automatically he has to be. And this was almost like 3 games in one, where the Bama stomp early on, where I talked with a lot of people that just turned the game off and watched, or like either went to bed or watched something else. And then the Georgia comeback to eventually lead, and then the Bama comeback at the end.
Yeah, I think this is. I've had a few games this year where I've had this feeling and been right, where I've been like, this game isn't over. Like, it's not. I had a feeling that Georgia was gonna come back. Like, it felt too good to be true that Alabama would just kick the shit out of them like that. And I'm glad that they did come back, because, like you said, I didn't want to shut off the game and just be like, well, that was a shitty game of the century. Can we talk about how freakish that 17-year-old wide receiver is?
Dude, he's freakish, but he's smooth. The way he moves is like water.
The way he just stanky legged those two defenders on his way to made them bump into each other like some bumbling ass stormtroopers. Right
there. NASCAR. Ryan Williams, 17 years old, on top of the world. He should be at. I mean, the announcers let you know he was 17, to be fair.
Yeah, that's true. You did hear that a lot. That kid got statutory raped so hard.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
Until he smoked and sparked, I think.
Fun stat, by the way. Chase, you are like locked into Alabama versus Georgia somehow. I think you have called every single one right that we've ever been a part of.
That is true. I am pretty epically good when it comes to calling Georgia Alabama games.
You have been on top of it. Also, fun fact, Kirby Smart, since 2021, Kirby Smart's Georgia has 3 losses. Old Alabama.
Tough. Tough.
That's a crazy stat.
That is crazy. I'm so put off by the shape of Kirby Smart's head.
How much do you think he yelled at them at halftime?
A lot. I think I don't know. Like, to me, it's scarier if he goes in like all calm, but like when your dad is like weirdly calm when he's pissed off at you, it's like, well, he's going to kill me now.
Yep.
I'm actually going to die.
Other question. Does Nick Saban win this game?
I don't know. I think it takes a wide open kind of offense to because I couldn't see a Nick Saban team with a Nick Saban hired coordinator like throwing a 70-yard bomb down the field first play from scrimmage and letting that happen.
I feel like this was the game where it fully becomes this is Kalen DeBoer's Alabama.
Oh, yeah. He's got his just stamp on the program right there. And it's not like, we're post transfer portal and post post
an IL transfer for the whole deal.
Yeah, and the deal is like it's actually his team. It's not like whenever, before that, whenever it would be like, well, it wasn't really his team. It was Nick Saban's team. Like, he had so many people transfer out and transfer in. Like, it's pretty much it's a brand new secondary. It's except for Jalen Milroe, it's a brand new team. So I feel like that win should get a ton of credit and not be like put off as like, well, it's Saban's players.
I feel like this is just credence to the fact that what we've been saying, what a lot of people have been saying, old Kalen DeBoer does is win. It's at every level.
At every level with every team. Since we have been following Kalen DeBoer, since he came out of NAIA, he has been a champion.
NASCAR asks, what if Texas and Alabama play each other? I think that would be a great game too.
I think it would be a great game. At this point, I think Alabama wins straight up, though.
I need to see Quinn Ewers at 100% with Arch Manning 100% Alabama.
Yeah. I also think
I think Texas is good. I think people are getting a little presumptive about Texas being like this crazy world-beating the best team in the country when their best win, dominant win, don't get me wrong, dominant. Michigan is a half team.
Yeah. I think that Alabama's weakness is their secondary, and I think that it could pose some matchup troubles for them with Texas. I don't know. I think Alabama would. Yeah, I think Alabama wins straight up right now, but it's a hell of a football game.
Now, Chase, going back to the rest of the games, Friday night, Miami 38, Virginia Tech 34.
This was
one of the two most controversial calls of the weekend.
Yeah, I'd say so. Banger of a game. I can't believe that they called that pass, a touchdown at the end, like on the field. Like that was one of the worst calls I've seen.
It was like a twofold fuck up where they ended up with the right call with review, but there's no way you should have called that a pass. You should have called that a touchdown there. And if you do call it a touchdown, there's no indisputable evidence that says otherwise.
Yeah. I feel like it was a stretch. Like I feel like they didn't have indisputable. Well, they did have indisputable evidence that that ball was never caught. But like, what if they didn't? Like, then you just royally screwed Miami.
Yeah, you just screwed your best. Right now, your front runner for the conference.
Right.
Banger game though. Indiana 42, Maryland 28. Curtis Rourke slow start, but Indiana has been putting it on teams.
Yeah. Completely just dominating, putting up points, not looking more like a Big 12 team than like a Big 10 team with the amount of points that they're able to put up.
We're on a potential path to 9 Indiana. I'm actually scared that Nebraska plays them now. So now Nebraska's October schedule, I have it right up here. It is Rutgers, Indiana, Ohio State.
Okay.
Not easy.
That's tough.
But damn, they're good. Oklahoma State 20, Kansas State 42. Put it on them Cowboys.
That's just the spanking noise. Man, I don't know. You kind of, I think, hit the nail on the head when we were doing the top 25, which is Oklahoma State with expectations.
Also, Ollie Gordon, 79 rushing, like 70 yards in the first quarter and like 80 yards total in the full game.
They don't have a quarterback that to at least like threaten that they might throw the ball. Like, and people are putting like 9 in the box and stopping Ollie Gordon.
And I think their offensive line is worse than last year.
Probably true.
Navy 41, UAB 18.
I actually watched a lot of this game because I had the under, which didn't hit. They barely went over, I will say, to my credit. But yeah, dude, they just got on top of them and just didn't stop. Like, very, very, very good looking football, very good looking triple option. And the guy, the Horvath, their quarterback, he can actually throw the ball a little bit too. And I think that's the big difference between them and Army.
They're dangerous. They're like potentially dangerous through the air, which is a nice little wrinkle. Dilf is not long for UAB.
No, he needs to be gone.
He needs to be gone like as soon as possible, honestly.
You know, there's the question of who do you get that's better, and right now I feel like there's a million just different better options out there.
So why? So they did that after the Colorado Dion thing. And I wonder if they were trying to like replicate that.
So you think he's like dollar store Dion then?
He might be. Dude, they had the interim coach, and you know where that interim is now?
Where's he at?
ULM.
And ULM is not embarrassing.
ULM not only beat Troy this week, beat UAB earlier in the season.
Yep.
USF South Florida, University of South Florida 10, Tulane 45.
Time to admit some things about South Florida.
That defense is bad.
They looked plucky in their last game in the first half where they pulled out like all the stops, but like it was obvious that whenever they pulled out all the stops that they literally had nothing else. Like they had nothing else to go for. They had to just fire their best shot, and it was a bunch of trick plays and shit.
Is it valid to potentially talk about South Florida having a body blow situation after playing Alabama and Miami?
I think it is. I think so. I don't think that it's the same.
I don't think that would have affected the outcome of this game. Just so everyone's aware.
True. But like I like with Alabama, I don't know. I'm not sure if they're the kind of like beat you up same kind of Alabama team that they were.
Fair. I think that easily puts Tulane is the best team in the AAC right now. As much as we wanted to believe they would fall off, John Summerall is still a really good coach. If you remember those Troy teams from a few years ago, like he's a good coach. They have good players. This Tulane team is also in the running for a playoff spot.
Yeah, I mean, they played Kansas State, who just kicked the shit out of Oklahoma State, very close. They were in that game until like a fumble, scoop, and score.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I can call them the best team in the AAC right now, though, when we've got Army and Navy.
Sorry, yeah, it's true. Army, Navy, and Tulane. Where if this was a Willie Fritz Tulane, it would all be option teams.
Yeah, it would.
Oh.
That would be so dope.
Kentucky 20, Ole Miss 17.
Fake news.
This is the kind of game like Ole Miss. This was the season you were supposed to be competitive with like Georgia and like either win or narrowly lose that game. You can't go and lose to Kentucky.
No, you can't. A Kentucky team with like a doo-doo offense too.
A
Like
really bad offense.
that Vandegrift kid sucks.
Kentucky's biggest win since like the 60s. So I don't know, man. That some people, I'm not saying any names, but some people are calling the South Carolina game a fluke.
I think it's next game. Next game.
BYU 34, Baylor 28. Watch out for the Cougars. I was a year early. I was so high on this BYU team last year. I'm still live. I'm still riding.
We both were high on BYU last year, and yeah, I mean, I think their offense looks great. Defense might leave a little bit to be desired. They really, like you said, they kind of coasted in that game against Baylor. Like I need to see some next stepping out of BYU.
I agree. I also think in the Big 12 in particular, it has the thinnest separation between all of the teams.
That's probably true. I like the floor and the ceiling are so like close together with everybody in the league.
And everyone besides Houston, I think.
Yeah. Says the guy who bet on Houston money line a couple weeks ago. That'd be me. That was that guy.
Minnesota 24, Michigan 27. This is what I think was the worst reffing job of the entire weekend.
So I didn't get to see any of the controversial calls from this game. What happened?
So I think this gets buried from the fact that Alabama, Georgia was so massive. That was the big story of the day. Michigan, so Minnesota scores like late, and they get within 3. They go for the onside kick. They're called offsides. And on review, everyone on TV, everyone I've talked with, and me personally, no shot was he offsides.
So they got the onside kick and they were called offsides. So
Yep.
They got Arkansas State.
Yes, they did.
That's called an Arkansas stating when that happened.
They got Arkansas stated, and it was disgusting. I'm not saying Minnesota would have won the game because you still have to do the whole drive and kick the field goal to tie it and go to overtime and do all that. But the fact that they didn't even get the opportunity, bullshit.
I agree.
Texas State 39, Sam Houston 40.
We had such big hopes for the Bobcats.
I wish I would have heard the news. I wish the news would have come out before Saturday of them joining the Mountain West.
So they're definitely going to the Mountain West.
No, I don't like. I heard some like. I wish that would have been a thing.
Apparently, the Pac-12 was interested too.
I think so.
Or the 2-pack.
I still like this Texas team a lot. Maybe Sam Houston's not as bad as we thought it was going to be.
I think that they've got a great quarterback. I think that they're going to when they get into Sun Belt play, like they're going to be hard to handle for a lot of those Sun Belt teams.
I still think it's got to be I was going to say it's them, but it's probably them and JMU are the favorites right now.
I think so too. Texas out of the West, JMU out of the East.
Yeah. Arkansas 17, A&M 21.
Just a gross game. Like we made it a rock fight, and then we got bludgeoned to death by rocks, which never bring a rock to a rock fight that you intend to lose, I guess would be the takeaway there.
I'll say this as a positive. Your quarterback is he has a lot of fun moments.
He has a lot of fun moments. I think he's really talented. I just think that he's not very polished at all.
Yeah, he's green.
Also, I think Bobby Petrino, this has been my gripe of Bobby Petrino since before we got him back, which was when you need to run the football, you're never able to run the football. And I have no idea why we got away from the run game and decided that we needed to be throwing the ball like crazy whenever we've had Jaquindon Jackson run wild. Like, run the goddamn ball. Like that would have won that game if we would have run the ball. But I don't know if he thinks he needs to run to set up the pass or what the deal might be. But he called a dog shit game. Like really bad. That loss is on Bobby Petrino.
I think it was his worst called game of the season.
Hands down. UAB wasn't great, but that was more of just like weird, fluky kind of stuff. every other game seemed to do okay, but this was just a doo-doo play calling job.
Oklahoma 27, Auburn 21.
Talk about games that people did not deserve to win, but I'm so happy that they did. I'm so happy that they did, Jim.
I feel bad for Peyton Thorne almost. He played a really good game.
Until the end. Until that one thing happened.
The pick six. Auburn outgained them. Oklahoma looked bad. And then they somehow they just keep around and they win. I don't think Auburn's going to make a bowl. There's like zero shot in my mind.
Zero shot they make a bowl? Yeah. At this point, what are they, 1-3?
They still have to play both Alabama and Georgia.
Yeah, they're not going to a bowl game. But to be fair, I got to say about my team, I don't think we're going to a bowl game either.
You might.
I think we're going to jump up and get somebody, but I think we're a 4 or 5-1 team.
You're going to be right there. I think there's going to be opportunities. I don't know if you will make a bowl, but you're going to have opportunities.
Maybe.
I don't think Auburn will have the opportunity to go to a bowl. And Oklahoma, they will probably go to a bowl. This defense can carry them a certain amount of way, but
yeah,
they are also very much a half team.
They're almost there. They're like 3-1, so they're halfway there. And I don't think that their schedule is really all that tough when it comes to, because they've got like us. That's a win.
They got like Texas though. I think they play Alabama. Like they have a couple like scheduled losses, but I think that defense can carry them in decent ways.
Okay.
Colorado 48, UCF 21.
See, I didn't get to see any of this, but that's impressive. Like, what is Colorado doing? Like, what's different? Because Shedeur Sanders is still getting hit like a million times a game, right?
No, this game he was actually decently protected. This was in my mind. I know it's not flashy. I know not a lot of people are watching them right now. This, in my mind, was the best game of the Dion era. They could run the ball. They looked physical. Their defense was good. Like Travis Hunter's a freak. He'll always have like amazing freakish stuff every game. He's must-watch TV alone by himself. The offensive line looks a little bit more put together. This game, if Colorado plays like this every single week, they are a potential Big 12 winner.
Which is a weird thought because they really did not look like one at the beginning of the season.
I think this is like the dichotomy that we had when we were picking this team for the preview. We had zero idea of what they could look like. I had both sides of the coin. Early on, weeks 1 and 2, that's the bad Colorado. Then all of a sudden they play like this. If they do this every single week, and honestly, I don't think UCF's defense is very good. The main thing for me is that UCF did have a pretty good run game coming into this one, and they could not run the ball.
Right. That's yeah. I think that they need to have some semblance of a run game for them to keep going winning games, because Shedeur dropping back 50 times a game and getting sacked 7 or 8 times a game, not sustainable.
Yeah, you can't play like an air raid unless you're an air raid.
Right.
UNLV 59, Fresno State 14.
Holy shit. Were we wrong about this one?
And I don't even think Fresno State's like a terrible Mountain West team. They just got it. UNLV had something to prove.
Yeah. It was either the game was going to be too much bullshit for them and they were going to fall on their faces, or they were going to rally together. And it looks like they rallied together in a big way.
Yeah, and there was a receiver on the team that said to use the $100,000 you were going to pay Sluka and pay the offensive line.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to rain on their parade, but like Barry Odom, that's
gone.
I'm sorry, guys.
He gone.
Louisville 24, Notre Dame 31. They were in it. It was a game.
Yeah, and they had to come back to make it a game too. Like they did not do themselves any favors in this football game. They had a scoop and score go against them. They had all sorts of just wonky shit happen. So good on them for keeping it close. I think they're still in play for the ACC too.
I think it's a 3-way race at the moment. It's Miami, Clemson, Louisville.
Yeah, I think that Louisville could get one of them.
UNC 20, Duke 21.
Get Mac Brown the hell out of there, dude. It's time to retire.
He should have retired last week when he said he was gonna.
Yeah, don't. Whenever he pulled the team to see if he should retire or not, they said, yeah, you should.
He's got to be done, dude. This is the largest Duke football comeback in school history.
Anytime they keep giving up the biggest blank in school history to teams, like
they were
JMU.
Up 20-0.
They were up 20-0. So in JMU, they give up the most points in school history with JMU, against a Power 5 or Power 5, Power 4 team, whatever. And now you give up the biggest comeback of all time. Like if you keep turning teams into like mythical creatures, then you're gonna have trouble.
Also, Duke quiet, like they're quietly undefeated.
I didn't realize they were undefeated.
I'm pretty sure. I mean, if you want to look that up, you have the laptop. You can. I think they're 4-0.
Let's see.
I think they're like a quiet undefeated right now. I got a lot going on in my head, so if I'm wrong, that's fine. I'm going to blame the move.
Duke is 5-0.
5-0. Duke undefeated. Not even receiving votes, by the way.
They must have played week 0, didn't they?
I think they must have.
Yeah.
Duke 5-0.
5-0. Talk to your kids about a 5-0 Duke with no Mike Elko and no Riley Leonard.
No, dude, it's Diaz, isn't it? Isn't it Manny Diaz?
It is Manny
on
Diaz.
The ACC Revenge Tour,
which just makes this even more just great, I think.
Charlotte 21, Rice 20.
That's what you get. That's what you get when you disrespect Biff Poggi. God, here we were thinking it was time to disrespect Biff Poggi, and I don't think either of us pulled the trigger on that one.
No, I did not, because I swore after week 2 I would never bet Rice. This is the team. Rice was the team. They were the team I was the wrongest about. This team sucks.
I think there were a lot of teams I was wrong about, but I think that you were even wronger about Rice than anything else.
I think I was wronger about Rice than anyone was about any team in the entire country. Florida State 16, SMU 42. Put it on their ass.
Dude, just boat raced. This, I mean, at this point, it's obvious that Florida State not going to a bowl game.
No, I think it's obvious at this point, Florida State, bad team. Like, that's actually just a bad loss for Cal now.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. SMU. I don't know what to make of SMU yet.
Slow start. Been looking better and better, but it is against TCU and Florida State. And TCU is like a bottom 3 team in the Big 12 right now.
And the Nevada win isn't as bad as it looked initially, right? Or did they lose to Nevada?
No, they won Nevada. Their only loss is to BYU.
That's right. So their win against Nevada, though, was unimpressive in that week 0 matchup. Yeah. But I feel like Nevada's made like a decent showing for themselves at this point.
I want to see how SMU looks against like an upper middle pack AC. Then Boston College would be a really good game.
They've got a great game this weekend with Louisville.
That'll be a very telling game.
That will tell us a whole lot.
Because hey, SMU not out of it. They're undefeated in conference play. Washington State 24, Boise State 45.
The Boise State wagon just keeps chugging along.
Dude, Ashton Genty's so damn good.
So good.
So
good.
Okay, if we can't see Army Navy, I really want to see Boise State in the playoffs because I think it's the best shot for a G5 to get somebody.
To get just at least one game in the playoffs?
Dude, like the way they played Oregon could be the 5 seed again, or who would be the 5 seed that I wouldn't think Boise State would at least have a good shot against?
Georgia?
Tennessee? Georgia?
Tennessee, Georgia, possibly Texas.
That's about it, though.
Yeah. With the way that they can run the ball, like it's hard to be against them. Like
I
no
would
team
maybe
runs the
even
football
against
like that.
Texas. I don't know, dude. They could
Do you think that Ashton Genty kid ends up? I'm not sure what year he is. So if he doesn't go pro, do you think he goes? You think he gets bought off in the transfer portal?
maybe. I mean, if it was any other G5, I'd say yes. I don't know what Boise's NIL deal is.
They got
So
that
there's a very
potato
good
money,
shot.
son.
But like, there's not much better G5 school that you could go to. So it had to be like a huge P4 offer.
I think it would be a P. I think at this point it would be a P4.
It would be a P4, but like it'd have to be pretty big.
Fair.
So maybe, I mean, there's a shot. And last but not least, Arizona 23, Utah 10.
I mean, what can we say for Utah other than game time decision? That's it. Like that's what this whole Utah season entirely comes down to, the fact that Cam Rising isn't playing. It's the exact same story as last year.
Yep.
I really wish they would just come out and say he's done. He's cooked. Like, and I think he might be like cooked at this point with the amount of like shit that he's had to deal with.
At this point, he's like a geriatric old man.
Yeah, was he on like his 10th season of college football now?
It's like he's older than like half of the NFL starting quarterbacks, it feels like.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he is. I think you're right.
I'm excited. Chase, week 6 is not looking as promising, but for those of you who have a keen eye for college football, those are the weeks that jump out.
Those are the weeks that jump out, but like at the same time, these weeks that look like there's nothing going on, there's always going to be a G5 game that has some sort of national championship playoff implications. There's every single, because these teams can't afford to lose. Like it, maybe they can afford to lose one, but there's going to be banger group of 5 football the entire season.
You're damn right. And watch it when you can. Don't obviously November action is fantastic, but a lot of these schools play. A lot of the times the G5, there's a G5 game that might be the most fun game to watch the entire.
Yeah, absolutely. I've come a long way from like when we met and I didn't really watch G5 games to, and just watch the SEC, to now I watch absolutely everything and have such a deep appreciation of G. Thank you for that, Jim. Thank you for
so
enriching
fun.
my life.
It's so damn fun.
My wife fucking hates you for it, but
that's fair. My girlfriend hates me for it too.
That's okay. That's fair.
So Chase, I was moving on Sunday, did not watch a lick of NFL. I want your quick take. I will go game by game. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Steelers 24, Colts 27.
Anthony Richardson is fragile and Justin Fields came down to earth a little bit. Yeah.
Shout out Joe Flacco.
Bert's still doing it.
Vikings 31, Packers 24.
Yeah, this was closer than it should have been. The Vikings are a wagon.
Nice. Jaguars 20, Texans 24.
Good God, Trevor Lawrence. You might be one of the worst quarterbacks in the league.
0-9 in his last 9 starts.
Dude, I think it's about time to pull the plug on that experiment. They got the win because Jaguars, basically.
Saints 24, Falcons 26.
We got cooed. We were cooed. We came back. We did everything that we needed to do to win that game. We had a dumb pass interference, and then we got cooed.
He's good.
Yeah, he's a good kicker.
Rams 18, Bears 24.
How embarrassing for the Rams. Caleb Williams still doesn't look like a dude either.
I'll say this for the Rams. They are basically like their entire roster's in the hospital, it feels like.
Yeah. Amazingly, this game still went over, though.
Nice. Eagles 16, Bucks 33.
Just an ass kicking. As someone who has Jalen Hurts, who he drafted very high as his quarterback in fantasy, like it's going to be a disappointing season for the Eagles. Like I really don't think that they, like now that we see what the Commanders have and everything, like I think that they're going to be struggling to make the playoffs.
Dude, Jane Daniels is so high. We'll get to that one. Bengals 34, Panthers 24.
Is Andy Dalton the real deal? I mean, granted, it was an Andy. Let's just. I'll get. Here's my quick summation: Andy Dalton revenge game, and he almost did it.
Love the red rifle. Broncos 10, Jets 9.
This was the ugliest game of the weekend. The main takeaway from this game, though, was the weather. The weather made this uglier than it really could have been. Just rain and pouring, piss and rain the entire time. I don't think that the Jets are anywhere near as good as they've been hyped up to be.
I'm wondering if the Jets might be an every other week kind of team.
They could be a Jameis team.
Yeah, sort of Jameis style. Commanders 42, Cardinals 14.
Oh man, Jaden Daniels good at football. Turns out he completed 91% of his passes in this game. 91%. That's insanity.
Only one quarterback this week did better.
Not only did he complete 91%, he completed 91% of a lot of passes. Like he threw the ball like 30 times.
God, he's so electric to watch.
He is. I worry. I just worry with how frail, how skinny he is, that like it's going to be like another RG3 situation.
Hopefully they fix the field.
Hopefully. RG3 wasn't because of the field. It was because he took some gnarly hits. Do you remember that one where he was flying through the air sideways and the guy hit his knee and his knee like wrapped around like in midair? Like I thought you would just like helicopter when someone hit you like that. No, his body just went
it crumpled
around that dude's head. Yeah, crumpled.
I'll say this, Jay, just learn to slide.
Yep.
Patriots 13, 49ers 30.
Oh, Chad Rowland coming in with I saw a stat that Jane Daniels has more scoring drives, 23, than incomplete passes, 19 through the first 4 games. Ooh. Jesus.
Just lock up the rookie of the year spot.
Yeah, it's done. What was the game we were on now?
It was Patriots 13, 49ers 30.
Yeah, I kind of wonder when it's going to be Drake May time in New England. Like I respect the fact that they're not forcing him out there early because we've seen what happens to quarterbacks when they do. But
is there a bad defense coming up?
I don't know. I'll have to look at their schedule.
Probably when they play the Dolphins.
Yeah. Sorry, bud.
That's fine. I'm out. I'm out on this season. I've given up. Browns 16, Raiders 20.
Man, it never ceases to amaze me how the Browns just find new ways to lose games. It was ugly. The both of these teams are pretty ugly, and I think are only going to get uglier after trades and everything.
Yeah, Devontae Adams requesting wanting a trade.
Yeah, well, they're open to it too. He's probably out.
He's probably gone. Chiefs 17, Chargers 10.
The Chiefs they're coming back to earth, but they're not losing games, and it's so fucking frustrating to watch. The fact that they're not losing these games because they get every single call.
It feels like it's not just every call; it's like every bounce goes their way. Every potential coin flip scenario always goes their way.
Always comes up Chiefs. Yeah, and I think that the Chargers, considering what they didn't have, because they had both of their tackles out, considering what they didn't have, I think the Chargers, made a pretty good accounting of themselves.
Bills 10, Ravens 35.
Whoo! Main takeaway is Derrick Henry still big, still fast.
I wish he would have gotten to 200.
Me too. That would have been nice.
Mean. Titans 31, Dolphins 12. Yeah.
Snoozer.
This is a terrible game.
But you have now quarterback controversy out of it. The Mason Rudolph or Will Levis. I think Mason Rudolph is the better quarterback than
I think
right now.
Mason Rudolph is the better quarterback. The Dolphins still don't really have a quarterback, which is cool. Whatever.
No, and apparently they're starting Snoop Huntley again next week.
Which I guess, that's fine. It's either him or Skyler or who cares. I don't know. I'm just at this point, even if Tua comes back, I'm just out. Throw the season in the garbage.
They do get a whole lot better. I mean, at this point, they're done. Like that, I don't think they can come back from a 1-3 start. But I do think that Tua, if he comes back and doesn't get brained again, then
the offense is so much better with Tua.
Yeah. I mean, they haven't had a lead yet this season.
No, which thank God the Jaguars are as bad as they are.
Right. Thanks, Trev.
Seahawks 24, Lions 40. Jesus Christ, Lions.
Dude, this game had everything. High scoring. You had a Philly special touchdown to Jared Goff, which I know I'm anti-Philly special. I've been anti-Philly special, but I feel like not everyone is doing it all the time anymore.
Yeah, I feel like we're far enough away from it now where not everyone, because it was when it happened, it was college all the time too.
Yeah. It was like every 2-point conversion play in pros and college was the Philly special. Yep. Philly. This game wasn't as out of hand as the score suggests. You had, Seattle kept trying to get close, and bring it in, but it was just it was like a Lions win from last season where, they just score a shit ton of points. They've got all sorts of offensive weapons between Amon-Ra and Laporta and the running backs. And it's, they're going to be tough to handle in the NFC.
This was the Lions' best offensive performance, I think. Also, this is a really good win for them because I feel like usually when they play the Seahawks, they lose these games.
Yeah. Where just kind of a last minute sort of thing.
Yeah. Also, shout out Jared Goff, 100% completion rate.
Yeah, 18 for 18 in this game. He didn't throw it as many times as Jaden Daniels, but he got all of them. And then catches a touchdown pass. Just all-time performance for Jared Goff.
Great for him. Chase, what a weekend. Besides football, besides NFL, besides college, shout out Pete Rose, and shout out just a weird litany of celebrity deaths this week.
It's this month. It seems like it's been we had Chris Christopherson. We had James Earl, Dikembe Mutombo. Yep. Dikembe Mutombo and Charlie Hustle in the same day.
Yeah.
This is crazy. It's just all the celebrities are checking out at this point.
And Jimmy Carter turned 100.
And is he 100 or 106? He looks like he's about 106.
He looks like the Crypt Keeper.
That dude has been in hospice for 5.5 years. That's not supposed to be how hospice goes.
He's resilient. Okay, give him a break.
But with Charlie Hustle, with Pete Rose dying, that's tip the hat to just an all-time degen. All-time degen.
All time. Do you think they put him in the Hall of Fame now?
I bet they do. And I think he's wherever he is, he's fucking pissed about it too. He's super. He's because I just watched that. They just had that 4-part documentary on Max about Pete Rose, and he said a couple times I hope they just don't put me in after I'm dead. And they heard that and they're like, yes,
that's exactly what we're gonna do.
That's exactly how this shit's going down.
Chase, what a show. What a weekend. We'll probably be from my phone again next week, just so I won't have internet on the day. But thank everyone for watching. Great weekend of college football. It was a fun weekend of NFL. Love you guys, and we will see you next time for another episode of the Jimnasium. Bye-bye, everybody.